Hello there, and welcome to Sweet Shot of Time. I'm your host, Steve Barnes. Today we're back to Wheel of Time stuff, so we're going to be talking about Wheel of Time Season 3 updates. But first, that song that brought us in just now, you might not know that song, but you will pretty soon. That's me and Lindsay. We're releasing another song. It's called Wishing Well. It's going to be released as an Introvoid / Lindsay Dunn song. It'll be released to everybody. It'll be available to everybody May 1st. But I wanted to put that on here so I get a sneak peek of that. For right now, we're working on the podcast. I got my special guest with me, my Wheel of Time guy. He's the spoiler guy. He's read all the books. He's from This Movie's Gay. I've got Corwyn. Hello, Corwyn. Ahoy there.
Ahoy there. Hello, Steve. How's it going?
Very well. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a while since we talked, Corwyn. What's been going on this past few weeks?
Well, I went to go see the eclipse in the Totality Zone. I didn't share that with you off stream. So that was incredible and fun.
That was when you were in Alabama, I suppose, then.
I visited Alabama, and then we went to Arkansas for the Totality Zone.
Okay, I don't even know where the totality zone is. I don't even know how to say the word totality. I mean, did you get the full experience?
Most people don't. It's fine. Yeah, I got the full experience. I got some pictures I can send you after too. I saw the eclipse. I didn't have to wear eclipse glasses, during that 2 minutes that it was happening. No, you don't have to whenever you're in the totality zone. While the eclipse is while the sun's fully eclipsed.
Okay. You still have your vision, right?
I still have my vision. No problems. The problem is whenever it's starting to eclipse and it's not fully eclipsed. And then after the eclipse, when the sun starts coming out again, then you can be blinded. But in that 3-minute window this year, you're good. And then I think the next eclipse in America is a longer window. The window changes just depending on the time.
Damn, I had no idea you could do that. I'm going to fact check you on that one because I have some other friends that went to the totalitarian zone.
That's a different zone. But
we don't want to go to that one.
Zone.
Well, maybe they were. They were in Texas, which might be the totalitarian zone. I don't know. But they saw it there, but they didn't mention anything about taking their glasses off. Us here in Virginia, my wife Heather made one of those shoebox thingies, and it actually worked. You could actually see it in the little pinhole. So I was proud that we had that at least. No glasses, of course.
Those are really cool. I watched the eclipse happening with the glasses on, but once it gets into that part where the sun is completely covered, you're going to take the glasses off for a second, only if you're in the totality zone. If you are not in the totality zone, do not take off your glasses or look at the sun. You will damage your eyes.
So all you folks listening to this in the past, all you time travelers, because we have time travelers on this who listen to this show, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Words.
Or for the next eclipse, also heed the words for the next one.
Corwyn, something I have noticed that you haven't been doing. I haven't seen any new episodes of This Movie's Gay. Are you going to be making new episodes of This Movie's Gay?
We will be making new episodes. I'm determined to make new episodes. Don't have a date yet, but we will have new episodes. We are on hiatus still, but we will hit 100 episodes. It might happen this year. Who knows? Ideally, we'll have something out during Pride. We'll see what's in the works, Do
you have movies in mind yet?
There have been quite a few movies that came out that I would like to watch. One of them being the Saltburn movie.
Right.
I feel like it's gay adjacent enough that I would like to talk about that one because it's also just a wild movie. Bottoms, also an incredible movie that came out recently. These movies.
Heck yes.
Yeah. Those are both on the list to do eventually. So we'll see if we get to them. And if you've seen them, great. I'll make you watch them again.
With pleasure. I mean, Bottoms I loved. Saltburn I didn't love as much as Bottoms, but I mean it's a rewatchable movie. I mean it's shot beautifully. I don't like all the characters, but I mean,
but it's got our girl Rosamund Pike in it, so it's kind of relevant.
It's very relevant, yes, and I could even cover it on this podcast. Why not? I mean, I cover all kinds of weird stuff. But I'm trying to stick to Wheel of Time. So I'm going to take us back to Wheel of Time. Well, what we're talking about today is season 3 updates for Wheel of Time. And I'm helping you out too, Corwyn, because I think you have not been keeping up with these updates. Is that correct?
That is correct. I have not been keeping up with the updates.
There's a lot of individuals that do this, but my source of news has been consistently WOTseries.com, or you might want to just say WATseries.com. They do a great job of covering the show, a great job of like interviewing the characters. The next time I have you on, Corwyn, that's what I plan to do, is we can go over the interviews, the cast interviews, and check out and deep dive into those. Because there's 5 of them available on this website, WATseries.com. Wait a second. Everybody go to sweetshotofTime.com first. And then you can check out WATseries.com, because Omar is doing a great job over there. And that's where I've gotten my information from now. Just recently, this week, Corwyn and listeners, we have all the episode titles revealed. So this is going to be a lot of spoilers we're going to go into pretty much right now. So if you don't want to be spoiled by the show, fast forward to the end, because me and Corwyn will be playing some spoiler-free games. But these episode titles, I'm going to go over these with you, Corwyn. Are you ready for this?
I'm so ready.
All right. Episode 1 is going to be called To Race the Shadow. Mm-hmm. And this is what happens in this chapter in the book. I don't know if this is going to happen in the show or not, because they're pretty like loose and easy with these chapter titles. But in the book, To Race the Shadow, this is when Matt tells Tom and Basil Gill what he learned about Lord Gabriel. Lord Gabriel is a fellow who is cozying up with Queen Morgaze over there, and he's actually one of the Forsaken. And Matt has just learned this information. So I think at the beginning, the first episode of the show, if we stick with that theme, then we're going to be learning about a Forsaken like right away. You can jump in anytime you want, Corwyn. I can't see you, but
I was gonna say, hell yeah. I'm interested to see more Tom. Right. Honestly, that's right. And the innkeeper that you just mentioned,
Basil Gill. Yeah.
I was gonna say Basil Gill, but I was hesitant because I felt like I was gonna get the name wrong. But yeah, because Basil Gill becomes a bigger character, and he just had like one line in the show. He just like comes up and says, "Hey," and then leaves. Like that's it.
Yeah, that's right.
Not introduced at all.
Let's move to episode 2. Episode 2 is going to be called Golden Eyes. And of course, in that chapter in the book, that's when Perrin returns to the Two Rivers. He tries to... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, that's right. He returns to the Two Rivers, and he's trying to get the White Cloaks to give him a hand, and it's not really working out. So
yeah, that was when so this is where the show is sort of going off the rails from the books, because I don't think we got Perrin at all in this book, in the actual book. And then it sort of had the same timeline in the next book for what Perrin was going through in the Two Rivers.
Well, that's kind of true. Because I'm reading The Shadow Rising right now. And, Matt accompanied Rand over to Meridian, and it was supposed to be all 3 of them were supposed to go, but Perrin felt that somebody needed to go to Two Rivers.
Yeah.
Because the 3 of them were hanging out at the White Tower. They heard word that something was happening to Two Rivers. He and Fail hightailed it over there. And at the point in the book where I'm at right now, nothing's happening with them because I'm focusing on Rand and Matt. So I think towards the end of The Shadow Rising is when we're going to be seeing, book wise, at the end of Shadow Rising is when Perrin does all his, when he returns to the Two Rivers. So I mean,
Yeah.
we're on the right timeline, but it just seems like it's happening earlier in the season than it should, which is okay. I mean, it's something separate that's happening from the other guys, so I'm sure they can work that out.
Yeah. I mean, I just remember there was like a part of the books where the time felt a little wonky, but whenever you like look at it all together, you're like, oh, this is happening concurrently. These things are happening all at the same time, and I feel like that's a theme throughout the book where you're like, you know, you see an effect of something that happens in an earlier chapter that you're like, oh, I totally forgot they did that.
They did like a time travel thing with 2 books, like where they cleansed the source and then they like went back in time a year for the next book. And I think like people who were reading the series as it was going were very angry about that at the time. And that's when they proclaimed the slogness. We didn't have to worry about that because by the time we read the books, they were all available to us.
Yeah, I just got to breeze through them.
Yeah, same. Lucky us. Let's see. Next episode, this will be episode 3 of season 3, is going to be called A Question of Crimson. There's no chapter called A Question of Crimson, so I don't know what this is about. I'm guessing a Lydia, maybe. You got any guesses?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, the something to do with the Red Aja would be my guess, or Morghese, I guess, because it's kind of like
right, yeah, because that's like her color in like Andor.
Yeah, so that might, you know,
A Question of Crimson. Sure, like Rand had to choose between like the red and the white. I mean, again, that happened much earlier. Because that's when he met Elaine. But yeah, it could be a question of like, should I choose red or white? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's something with Elida because she's I hope it's that actress that I heard the rumor that it was going to be, and yeah, I'm excited to see her.
Yeah, we'll get to the characters next. Episode 4 is going to be called He Who Comes with the Dawn, which of course is the Ruidian prophecy. He who comes with the dawn, it sounds like basically anybody who comes at dawn time from Ruidian could be like, you know, the Cara Corn. Or is that what they call the leader of the Aiel, like the chosen one? He who comes with the dawn.
The Cara Corn.
Did I say it right?
It's. I'm gonna guess you said it right. Neither one of us do pronunciations in this specific wheelhouse, so no one's putting up the international phonetic alphabet pronunciations for these characters in these places. Happen. So
we'll go with that pronunciation. But he who comes with the dawn must have the dragon mark on both his arms, and he must have those palm things. That's part of the prophecy as well. So I'm pretty sure that might be when
herons on the palms.
Yeah, that's right. Next up, episode 5 is going to be called Seeds of Shadow. And this is chapter 1 of Shadow Rising, which is kind of weird. But in that chapter is when Min arrives in Tar-Valon, and she is told to present herself as Elmendrida, as like a disguise so nobody knows who she is. But Elydia figures out that ruse within this chapter of the book. So we get some Min intrigue there and there.
I'm excited for all that, the Aja intrigue that's going to go on, all the White Tower nonsense that we're going to get to see.
It's going to be total nonsense. It better be. I mean, that's what we're in this for. Next one, episode 6. There's only 8 episodes this season. Episode 6 is going to be called Teleran Royad. Perfect.
Amazing.
I mean, that's what got me hooked into the books. Like when they introduced that concept, that's kind of what drew me in and like made me keep reading. And speaking of which, was there anything in particular, like, because you read a lot of books, I'm sure you probably do you ever start books and then like, nah, this isn't for me, and throw it away?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All the time.
So what kept you reading Wheel of Time then?
Honestly, learning more about the magic system in the world kept me in. And I wanted to learn more about some of the different Aja that are pretty powerful and pretty cool.
But yeah, in that chapter, Egwene uses her terangriel to like enter the world of dreams for the first time. She also meets Sylvie in that chapter, and Sylvie is like another disguise that Lanfear puts on to kind of like become Egwene's friend in the world of dreams and kind of lead her
Oh yeah,
around
yeah,
a bit.
yeah.
It was through Sylvie that we learned about Kalendor, and that got that whole ball rolling.
Yeah, and then she soon meets Amos through that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then that gets them on the way to the Aiel wastelands.
Where I'm at in the book, yeah, that happened a while back. So like the way that these chapters are set up, or at least these episode titles are set up, it's really like a real like shuffled scene here. But I mean,
Yeah,
like I said, they might not stick with like the exact chapter with what we're seeing on the show. Because yeah, you're
yeah.
right. That does kind of not make sense because she would have already met. I mean, if the chapter before this was Seeds of the Shadow or He Who Comes with the Dawn, we know that like Rand's in Ruidian at that time, which means Egwene's also in Ruidian, which
Mm-hmm.
means that she's already met Amos in Teleran Royad. So we got a little
And
bit
that
of
they've already taken Tyr.
yeah, correct on that too. Next up, we got The Road to the Spear. And in that chapter in the book, which is exactly where I'm at right now, that's where Rand learns the true history of the Aiel. And then the last episode is going to be called The Shadows in the Night. And the significant thing that happens in that chapter in the book is when we meet the Illuminators and we meet the oh so hot Aludra. She's also somebody that like I have no idea what she looks like, but just the way she's described and her whole attitude, I'm completely attracted to Aludra. I like her a lot. Do you remember her?
Yeah, she was the Illuminator that followed Matt around.
The firework lady. Yeah, she and
Mm-hmm.
Matt. I always thought that she and Matt should have hooked up, and Matt thought so too. But
Yeah.
that they had just a platonic relationship, which is totally fine. But I don't know, Matt. I'm disappointed in you. But yeah, that's all.
He
That's all I know about those episode titles. Did you have anything else with that?
no, it ultimately sounds like they're kind of combining books 3 and 4, which
Sounds like they're
is
skipping
it's
three to me.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean there's also things that happen in 3 that cuz that's when we first get the Kalendor stuff, and that's when
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tyr is taken, Moraine straight up kills Bilal, and those hellhounds get
Right. Right.
introduced. Um, there's
Yeah.
also more with Gawain and Galad, which we haven't even met yet in the show. So yeah, they might be just straight up skipping and going to 4, but I feel like they've got to include some stuff from 3.
Yeah, like the taking of Tyr and like Kalendor. Nothing in here is even mentions Kalendor in these chapter titles. Maybe that's something that they're saving for like because
Maybe.
they release these episode titles for the fans to get excited and talk about.
Yeah.
So they probably hold some stuff back. I suppose. I don't know.
I mean they also they've sort of gone in different directions with things, so they very well could just not do a lot of that. Because we saw Moraine in the first book, or was it the second book? The first book just straight up also kill a Forsaken.
Yeah, two of them.
And
I
I
think.
think the show is kind of making two of them. And the show is kind of making the Forsaken a little scarier with their introduction of Lanfear and with the introduction of Moghedien. So
Right.
yeah, who knows what they're going to include with the show itself.
I mean, it seems like they're scaling back. They're only going to like release 8. There's only going to be 8 Forsaken. It seems like in the show, as opposed to in the story. So
Mm-hmm.
a few of them are going to be skipped past.
I mean, they were basically skipped past in the book too. They just they were one and
Kind of.
done. They got taken out real quick.
I know that the guy who runs this show, Rafe Judkins, he says that The Shadow Rising is like his favorite of all the Wheel of Time books. So he really wanted to get most of that book into season 3. That was his goal, was for Shadow Rising to be season 3.
Interesting.
I think it's interesting too, because I think that the whole Tyr and Kalendor thing is huge. So we'll see how they handle that. Sweet Child of Time is brought to you by Zencastr. Zencastr helps us make Sweet Child of Time. When I schedule an episode, I send the link out to my co-hosts and whoever the guest may be. We all get in a room together, an online room, of course. We all record locally on our microphones, and when we're done, we all have individual files we can download for easy editing. You can either record video or audio. If you'd like to choose Zencastr, go to zencastr.com/pricing. Use the promo code Sweet Child of Time for 30% off any paid Zencastr plan. If you want to have the same easy experience I've had with podcasting, choose Zencastr. It's time to share your story. I know going forward, we're going to have, our normal characters that we have always had before. Returning, of course, is Tom. I think we'll be seeing him in episode 1. We're going to see a lot of Aiel and Tuathan coming up in season 3, which means we're going to be seeing Isla, Aram, Rains coming back. And who else we got here? Some folks from Two Rivers, because we're going to Two Rivers. So we'll see Daisy Conger again. We'll see Matt's parents again. We know we love them a lot. But the new folks we got coming in, we definitely have some new cast members and new roles that have been filled, but none of this has been officially announced, but there have been, screenings released. Well, not just rumors, like the people on site in South Africa, are reporting certain actors being there and playing certain roles. So I think it's more than rumors. I think it's like controlled leaks, I think is what it is. Because like these folks at WattSeries.com and other folks like the guy who runs the Watt Up site on YouTube, they get invited to actually be on set and to see some of this filming going on. So they report back, and some stuff they report officially, some unofficially. Mm-hmm. So I'm reporting some unofficial stuff that has been reported to us. Olivia Williams definitely will be in the show, and it's quite likely she'll be playing Queen Morghese. I'm excited about that. I loved her in the Netflix series The Crown. There was like a one-off episode because each of the show is all about history and stuff, but there's just one episode, it just features her and this guy who broke into Buckingham Palace and like held her hostage for like a couple of hours just because he was like deranged, confused. And that episode, I mean, it's a true story. It really happened. And Olivia Williams like really came out in that episode as like just a great actor and like a great person. Like you could see that she was playing psychological games with this guy to, calm him down and to, have him be, back off and stuff. She had to like entertain him, and you could just see the discomfort, the fake kindness. I can't wait to see her play Queen Morghese. That's all I gotta say about that.
I think she was in a show called The Nevers that I did see, and she's good. I'm excited to see her. She'll be great.
We're definitely going to have an Elidia. She's definitely showing up. Looks like an actress named Shuri.
Yep.
Woo. I guess Shallow. We'll be playing Elidia.
I also, I do not know how to pronounce her name, and I don't want to mess it up, but she plays a very iconic character in The Expanse, and she's incredible, and also has just like such a unique, raspy voice. Great actress. She's also been in Will and Grace. She's great. I love her.
Yeah, I don't know who she is. I haven't seen any of those shows, so I'm going to take your word for it.
You should watch. I feel like The Expanse is definitely like a wheelhouse that you would enjoy. So definitely you should check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, you recommended it to me last time we talked, and I did watch episode 1, and it didn't grab me.
She is in episode 1, I think. It's Christian in The Expanse. She's like on Earth. She's like a political person.
Okay, yeah. I don't know who that is off the top of my head, because I probably watched this right after we recorded. This was like a month ago.
Yeah.
And then I also watched it in such a way that I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I like this. So I'd have to see a picture of her to know exactly who she is. But I'll be enjoying her as a Lydia.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then once you enjoyed her as a Lydia, then you can go back and you're like, okay, I got to watch her in other stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Galad's coming up. I don't see Gawain's name on here, but definitely Galad is on here.
They did at least mention Gawain or whatever in the last season. So he at least was mentioned. So hopefully we do see him.
Okay, and I did write down a couple of notes here about each of these people. Like, for example, Galad. He's if anybody doesn't know, he's from House Demandred. He's brother of Elaine. We've met the redhead Elaine. That's her brother. And he has another. That is her brother, correct. They have another brother named Gawain that she mentioned. And I don't see him in the cast here or his name in the cast, but he must be showing up at some point.
Interesting.
And
I mean,
there's some. Oh, go ahead.
Who knows? They might combine characters. So who knows?
I hope not. That would make sense, but I kind of hope not.
Because he was kind of like he was active in the books, but he wasn't super active until like the very last couple of books.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Well, speaking of him, he's also probably going to be hanging out with another new character, going to be called, how would you say this? Jakeem Carradine. He's an officer of the Children of the Light, and he's also an Inquisitor of the Hand of the Light.
Oh, yeah. That man.
Yep, that man. We'll be seeing him in season 3. Season 3, we're going to be seeing Fael. You heard of us talk about Fael last time. She begins as an adventurous Saldean noblewoman, pledging herself as a hunter of the horn. And I'm unabashedly a Fael fan, even though she sucks. I'm really hating her right now. Like some stuff I've been reading, I'm not a fan anymore, but I liked her at the beginning.
I think that was like half our conversations when I started reading the books was I hate her so much.
It was, yeah. And then I forgot you hated her. I felt bad for that. I did you dirty. We're going to have Lady Morghese Trachond, the Queen of Andor. She's going to be another character here, Elaine's mom. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have, already said Lord Galad. Another new character is going to be a guy named, I don't know if you say Jacques or Jack. I would say Jacques Lunault. He's a torturer from Terrebonne, and he was an employer of Queen Aramilla, but Queen Aramilla is not in the cast, so I'm not sure where he's going to fit in. But I do know that his character in the book. Let's see. Let me get my facts straight here. Aramilla planned on using Jack to persuade the high seats to support her instead of Elaine. So everybody was like, yeah, Elaine should be the one. So Jack was sent in there as kind of like a bad agent to get everybody to turn against Elaine and to support Aramilla instead. Sounds like somebody we don't want to trust, basically. I really hope that that Seth and Aradia are not listening now, because they would be really ashamed of me. All right, I'm going to go on. We got another Jacques. We got Jacques Alcine. He's a farmer from the Two Rivers. He's definitely going to be likable. I mean, any Two River guy, it's pretty cut and dry. He's going to be a kind, nice farmer for the most part, right? A little fact I wrote down, all these Two River guys are likable. So it's kind of like unfair. It's like you can't really like criticize them because they're just going to be like hearty, good-natured fellows. It reminded me of like, I read a review earlier today. I was just reading random reviews, and I saw a review of Dude, Where's My Car by Siskel and Ebert. And they both like rated it thumbs up. And they were like, this is like a rating. This is like a review proof movie because we can't say anything bad about it. It's not a great movie. It doesn't really move us or anything, but they accomplished exactly what they wanted to accomplish. And so for that reason, you can't really criticize this movie. Just like you can't really criticize any Two River farmers because they're just good-natured guys trying to do their best for their sheep and their family, you know?
I do love the Two Rivers people, though. They're great.
I mean,
they're great.
That's where I want to live. I mean, hands down. Where would you want to live in the Wheel of Time world?
100% Two Rivers, probably. Just like,
we'd be neighbors.
Get out of the way. I don't want anyone else around me.
I'll meet you at the Wine Spring Inn every Sunday.
Yeah.
Another new character named Shane. Who the hell is Shane? I looked it up. Shaine. And I looked at the wiki and all that stuff. And so I guess, I don't know, somebody named Shane. And then we have a couple of Aiels. We got Magrin, who is like a Dashane Aiel, later of the Gen Aiel. And this is somebody that existed way back at the breaking of the world, I should say. Also somebody, we're going to be doing some flashbacks. We're going to have Latra again. She was an Aes Sedai way back in the Age of Legends, and she's one of the 100 that went and sealed the Dark One in his prison. And the last that we know of for sure that's going to be showing up in season 3 is Lelaine. She's an Aes Sedai of the Blue Aja. She's one of the sitters of the hall. She didn't make a huge impression on me. Do you remember much about her?
Yeah, she was one of the ones in the Egwene camp. It was between her and that yellow sister whose name I can't remember right now. Okay. They're the ones that wanted to control Egwene and keep her as a puppet.
That's right. She ain't no puppet, man. She's got her own mind. She's strong. I wanted to bring to the forefront some things I really want to see, and I want to take turns with you if you have some things that you really want to see from this show. And one of the things that we already mentioned that I really want to see, and I don't think we're going to see it, is the taking of Tyr in Kalendor.
That is also on my list.
I don't know what the Stone of Tyr looks like. I'm really curious how they're going to portray it. In my head, it's just like a big, like Fred Flintstone kind of thing. Like, what does it look like in your head? Like the Stone of Tyr?
Definitely like some kind of like bunker to me, since we're all like, this is post-apocalyptic.
Right. Okay.
Technically. Sure. So I always think of it as like some kind of old world bunker. That's why they like square,
like an army kind of thing.
Yeah. Like some kind of big fort that doesn't really have any exits or entrances and things like that. Maybe a large underground portion of it.
So yeah, we both want to see that. So what's something that that you're anxious to see about season 3?
I want to see more of Moiraine taking down some Forsaken. I want to see Moiraine versus Bilal.
I think you're going to get your wish. I would certainly hope so. It seems like it's in the cards here.
Yeah, and also Moiraine versus Hellhounds. We'll consider that the same.
Right.
I want to see her take that stuff out. I want to see that balefire.
She has already kind of faced Lanfear in season 2. Is that right?
She sort of she was just sort of along for the ride with Lanfear. She cut her throat first introduction and then fled, and then the next time they interact was really when Lanfear hit Swan and went into the ways.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, I think we're going to be seeing the showdown with them two.
That would be so early in the show, I feel. But
I feel like it would be too.
Gotta happen. I mean, well, maybe not, because Moraine also goes to the wastelands and everything.
That's right.
The showdown happens afterwards.
I don't know. I mean, I know we're definitely going to see that. I just don't know if we're going to see it in season 3. Was kind of my hopes anyway.
Yeah, and we also like Moraine hasn't even met Tom, and that has to happen before that showdown happens as well.
Oh, of course. I didn't even make that connection that they haven't met yet. Is that right? Like in the show, Tom and Moraine haven't met yet?
Yeah, because we only met Tom for a second. He was just in that little village with Matt and Rand, and then he didn't even journey with them to Camelin. He just was like, all right, bye.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I'm thinking way early then. so bring us back to season 3, Corwyn. Well, what's something else that you're looking forward to seeing?
I think the fight with Rand versus Baalzamon will be fun, because that's also when he teleports to the city, which starts with an R, and I Ruidian, whatever the name of the isle.
Ruidian, yes.
Yeah, that place. That whole fight should be really cool, because the book, they kind of travel a lot and some weird stuff happens. So I'm interested to see what they do with that. And then the last one on my list, I'll just go into it, is Matt beating Galad and Gawain with the quarterstaff. I really want to see that fight.
Yeah, you're right, because that's like a practice match. So
yeah,
he beats the crap out of both of them. They make a huge lesson out of it too.
Yeah, because Galad is supposed to be like the strongest sword fighter they've seen in ages, and like all that, and Matt just wipes the floor with him.
See, I usually don't like fight scenes. Like when you mentioned like Rand, and like I know it's going to be coming up. We're going to see the last battle and all that kind of stuff. I'm just not. I don't like action movies. I don't like fight scenes in general. But I do like, there's certain fight scenes I really do enjoy. Like I'm thinking in my head right now, like the Robert Downey Jr. when he portrayed Sherlock Holmes, and he was like a boxer in the first one. I thought those fight scenes were really interesting because they were very scientific. They involved a lot of math. I thought that was neat. I think this fight scene with Matt and with hopefully both Galen and Gawain, I mean, that's the kind of fight scene I like, is like a practice match where there's not a whole lot at stake and people are just testing each other. When you have this like big fight for the soul of the world and like everything's on the line, I just kind of get glazed over. Like I really enjoy just like a one-on-one match. I don't like these high stakes.
Yeah, I mean, those are usually like the scenes where the show can have fun. It's usually like the levity that you can add into a show like this. So that's why I kind of hope that it happens. It doesn't sound like it will, considering the character list so far and what they're doing with the show. But who knows? Maybe.
One other thing it seems like a fight scene. You might be like, Steve, you're a hypocrite, but I really want to see Matt with that gray man when they have that scene on the bridge. Like when Matt has that amazing stroke of luck that one night, and he like is on this fever rush.
Oh,
like
yeah.
gambling.
When he's fleeing, well, not fleeing, but when he's leaving Tarvalon for the first time.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I can't wait to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, if they do it, because he showed up to Tarvalon at the end of the last. All of them are together right now, so I guess they have to go back to Tarvalon, because I think that scene you're talking about happens like right after he gets healed from the dagger, which they sort of also already did but didn't.
Yeah, I'm really hoping they don't skip stuff with Matt. Like when he drank that tea and he had like those visions in season 2, like on the television show.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw like, you see him hanging at one point, and then like he makes that spear, and he blows the horn, and it seems like his spear is magical. I'm really apprehensive that they're going to skip some stuff with Matt. I don't want them
100%. Because I mean, he gets that spear from the snakes and foxes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like that's going to be a thing.
That
probably
has to be a thing. That's what I was going to say. Like, it has to be, please. Like, that is what I'm dying to see, is them go through the red door frame. And I'm dying to see Matt go through it. And the second time when they're in Ruidian.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what I want to see, is when he actually gets like his fox head. That's when he gets his spear, but that's not going to happen, obviously. That's also when he gets hung. Yep. So I really hope that mirror shot in season 2 was just a foreshadowing of what was going to happen.
I don't know,
because so much good stuff they cannot skip, or I'll be very angry. Like these other people online, they get mad at the show. I don't want to be one of them people, Corwyn. I want to be a nice guy.
Well, like if they do skip out on the whole snakes and foxes, all of those plot lines with those creatures or whatever they are, what will the showdown between Moraine and Lanfear look like?
Yeah, and how will they rescue Moraine at the very end from the tower?
Are they even going to have Moraine need to be rescued?
You're making me upset.
I mean, that part would be fine with me. I love Moraine so much. I'm fine if she like sticks around and does badass stuff throughout the whole show. Like, I'm okay with that.
I am too, but I do love the whole like Ned Stark Game of Thrones-ish thing of like killing like the main character.
Yeah, I mean it that does make Rand stop being such a dick. So we gotta. It'll be interesting to see what they use as the catalyst for that instead, if they don't end up making Moraine disappear for a while. Because he really was being a dick for a while.
Yeah. We called him Darth Rand, is what the online community would refer to him as. Well, I mean, the last thing I think I said that was the last thing, but one more thing on my list that I absolutely know that we're going to see, no doubts, is the Tuathan and the Aiel and their cultures and how they're intertwined. They're definitely going to show that, because that's one of the episode titles. So we'll definitely get that one.
Yeah. I'm excited to see Amos and the other wise ones. I think they're going to be badass.
Yeah. Especially Amos always is like the standout to me of that whole like quad of the wise ones. I don't know why. Maybe because she does the most talking. Maybe it's by design.
Absolutely. And then Cadswain, that everyone thinks is dead. I want to see her. I don't think she's going to be introduced until much later, but I'm so excited to see her as well.
Yeah, like there's no mention of speculation of that character showing up at this point, unfortunately. So, yeah, she's a neat character. I've always been a Viren guy myself, but
Viren is also cool. Incredible. Yeah. Very frustrating character, but I do enjoy her. So I look forward to more scenes with Viren in the next season.
She don't frustrate me, man. I'm on board with Viren. I think
her ending.
I'm on the Viren train.
Her ending frustrates me.
Really? I thought that was like okay. So in my mind, her ending was great, because like she knew she was going to die, and she knew that she could use that last hour to like tell the truth, which she did. So what about that did you not like?
That she could have just used the oath rod to free herself from those oaths and been fine.
Okay.
That's what killed me. And then that her warnings to Matt just like go completely unanswered, like until it's too late. Like she does a lot of great things at the final moments of her time. And if only the other characters weren't little shits, she would have been fine. She could have taken the dark one out herself. Viren really was that girl.
Yeah, I mean, you got my brain racing now, thinking like possibilities with the oath rod with her, and yeah, they had it in their possession for a while too.
Well, it's because the Aja that figured out that there are, things going on in the tower that aren't right, had the oath rod. They just like I kind of stole it. But she was like, I did this because I just didn't have enough time. It's like, okay, all right, great.
I don't know. I can't count the ways which like she really impressed me throughout the books and even the show. Like I love the show Viren as well.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with like my grandmother's name was Vera, so like they're close in names there. I just love the fact that she's like a double what do you call it? Is that a double agent, a triple agent?
Yeah, she's like a triple agent. The scene that really got like Viren is great in the books because you want to like her and you want to be like, okay, I think she's good. But then like things keep happening where you're like, is she good? Is she good? I don't know. And that just makes her character so interesting, especially when all the Aja got captured by the Aiel and Viren had her moments of not torturing them, but she was like doing her compulsion weaves on them to make them work for Rand. And I'm like, what an icon. What she was like, I know you're a Black Aja. I'm about to take care of you though.
That's right. Well, see, I think I felt that way about Cad Swan. Like I'm not a Cad Swan hater by any means at all, but I think those two characters have a lot of similarities.
Oh, absolutely. I think Cad Swan is amazing. I think there are times where she gets too my way or the highway. She gets too prideful.
Yeah.
Because she's, one of the oldest sisters of the tower alive, but at the same time, she does still make some great decisions and some good points that everyone else also tends to fuck up.
You're right, but like when you were saying about Viren, like you were saying some of the things you weren't sure about her, couldn't figure out where she was coming from while you were reading. That's how I felt about Cad Swan.
Oh, like I was on her side from day one. I said yes, she's all right. She's great. I read the collections, so I had books like 1 through 4 and then the New Spring, the prequel.
Yeah.
So I read the prequel, which introduces you to Cad Swan, before I went on into the next series where you get her in the main story. So I saw her, introduction with Moraine and everything, and that's when I was like, yeah, she's great. I love her. I think she's good.
I do as well. I hear people say things like, I hate this character. This character drives me crazy. Where I feel that way sometimes, but I kind of like those type of characters that drive you crazy. Like I'm a big fan of Leandrin on the show for that reason, because I don't like her. I don't like her face. I don't like the way she acts. And I just love watching her do it all. So therefore I love her. So
yeah,
I think when people say like, I hate that person, I think that's what they mean. I think they mean that they love watching them, but they actually are entertained by how much they hate them.
I think for the most part, I would agree. Except Fail. Get her out of there. Throw her off a cliff. No redemption.
That leads me right on to our next segment, Corwyn. It's time for us to play a little game of this or that. I'm just going to ask you 2 things. One thing stays, one thing goes. One thing's got to go forever. And one of the first ones I had here was Tuon or Fail.
Tuon.
Tuon's got to go?
No, Tuon stays.
Tuon stays. Okay. So you're going to say who stays is who you're
I'm saying who stays. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So okay. That tracks very well with you. All right. All right. Next up, Aiel or Tuathan?
The Aiel. I'll go with the Aiel.
You gonna stay with
you got Amos. Like I can't.
Okay.
And Ruark, come on. And Avienda, come on. Bale and Chiad, there's so many good ones.
You see, okay, you're right. You're taking individual Aiel as your references, and that's correct. I was thinking like as a whole culture, and in which case I mean, the Tuatha are kind of like, you might call them wimps or whatever, but they have, a free way of living that like live and let live. The Aiel can fight, and they're like a stronger culture, but like there's no room for individuality or like just pursuit of leisure in the Aiel culture. I mean,
yeah. If you're telling me to choose which one I would rather be a part of and like live with for a while, the Tuatha.
All right.
But if I had to remove either one from the books, I want to keep the Aiel.
That's a wise choice. Okay. So who are you going to keep out of Mat or Perrin? One of them's got to go. Who's going to stay?
Oh, that's a hard choice. I'm going to say keep Mat just because that little shit
keeps things fun.
He keeps things fun. I love Perrin. I love Perrin so much, but he's a little tainted by Fail. Can't deny. Can't deny that.
No denying. Yeah, Perrin is a little more flawed. Mat is more happy with. Okay, since you chose Mat, would you keep the Foxhead medallion, or would you keep the spear?
Foxhead medallion. That thing's cool.
I agree. Okay, good. All right, Avienda or Elaine?
Avienda.
You're gonna keep Avienda. Okay, then how about Avienda or Min?
Men.
Yeah, go with buddy.
Men.
I mean,
love men.
I completely agree with your choices there too. Men's number 1, Avienda's number 2, Elaine's number 3. Number 3 is not bad in this case, but
they're all great. I love them all. If I could keep them all, I would keep them all.
All right, where would you rather live, Camelin or the Tar Valon?
If in this situation I was able to weave, if I was able to channel the same channeling the Aja do, not the one to make me crazy, Tar Valon.
Okay, so is your dream to be a sister?
My dream to be let me be a sister. Just let me be a sister.
I mean, I don't want to go to
the and be like, hello.
I would not do well in the White Tower. I don't think I'd be more of the more of that crazy bunch that like doesn't go to the White Tower, that lives in Tar Valon, but they're not part of the White Tower, but they channel. What's that group called? I can't remember their name. They have a name for them.
Oh yeah.
And like the kitchen mistress is the one who's kind of like the leader of them, or she like at least is the liaison. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. Let's move on. All right. Out of our 3-letter names, who would you choose? Lan or Tam?
Oh man.
I know.
I'm gonna go with Lan, but Tam is such a good choice. I'm gonna go with Lan.
I hear you. Okay. The Sentient or the White Cloaks? Who's going to stay?
What was that first choice?
The Shan Chan.
Oh, the Shan Chan or the
White Cloaks. You can keep one. One's got to go.
The Shan Chan. Now hear me out. Just because like they take over and they treat channelers poorly and all of that. However, they're just like, yeah, just swear allegiance. You're good. All right, cool. Live your life. Like they do not give a shit outside of that.
They don't follow up.
The White Cloaks will just straight up kill the channelers.
It's a tough choice. That's why I brought it up, you know? I think I'm with you, actually. I got to tell you, I think I'm with you. The Shan Chan don't do a very good job of like checking back in with you and make sure you're still with the oaths. They're just like, you do it once, you're good.
They're just like, yeah, here you go, do those. Now I don't want to shave my head and like all that stuff. No, thank you. Let me be me.
Some of them have funky hairstyles, so I want to be one of those people with the funky hairstyle.
With yeah.
All right,
they gotta wear wigs that can't be bald.
You only get one. Who are you going to choose, Elias or Hopper?
Wow. Hopper's a good boy. I'm gonna choose Hopper.
You're an animal lover.
I do love animals. Elias will be fine without me. He'll be fine. He'll make it. He'll do okay.
He's a loner anyway. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
All right. This is a question everybody wants to know the answer to. Barney Harris as Matt or Donald Finn as Matt? Who you keeping?
Oh, Donald Finn. I really enjoyed his performance.
I did too. I'm kind of a Barney lover myself. I love the barn.
I did love them. I think they both did a great job. I think Donald Finn just pulls out just a little ahead for me.
Okay.
Slightly.
All right. I mean, he's the more well-rounded actor, that's for sure. I think Barney Harris had some definite stage presence, though.
Oh, absolutely. He's done great, and I want to see him do way more things.
I can't wait to see him do more. I know he's a musician too. I'd love if he put out an album or a couple of songs or something. Give us something, Barney. He's
absolutely.
Oh, speaking of songs, okay, this is the last one. Season 1, we saw some songs. Season 2, no songs. So, what do you prefer? Songs or no songs?
Songs.
Alrighty.
I want to hear more of that. The Manatharan song.
That's right. Parents got that bass.
Mm-hmm.
Corwyn, and I only have one thing left, which is, I guess I'll call this the subjective male gaze, which is what we both are, a couple of males. So I wanted to see, who are the hottest show characters and the hottest book characters. And I played this game with my wife recently. I don't recommend that you do that, but I mean, if you feel so compelled and feel confident in your relationship, you can share who you find the most attractive. But she suggested, Corwyn, that, since you prefer males, I prefer females.
Mm-hmm.
She suggested that it'd be only fair that we take turns, and if you name a male character that you enjoy, then I have to name a female character that I enjoy, and vice versa, just to make it interesting. We have to take turns. So you can't just name all men. I can't just name all women.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
So we got to match it up.
All right.
So do you already have a list together? Because I got a list here of mine.
I have a short list.
Okay. I got a short list too. It's not long, but I want to start, I guess, with you. Let's start at the bottom. Who do you got on the bottom of your list?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I went for book characters. For this one, got Ruark from the Aiel.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Amis's husband from the Aiel.
That's a solid choice. Okay. I'll meet you with that one. With Amis, we're going to do some couple swapping. Because Amis is one of much, as I mentioned earlier, how much I enjoy her. And yes, she's absolutely, she's higher up on the list than last. But yeah, I'll match you with Amis there.
Amazing. You want to do one of your lists?
Yeah, we're going to do it that way. I'm going to go first now. So I'm going to name a male character that me and Heather both agree is probably actually, he's on the top of my list, so I can't do that. I'm going to go to my bottom of my male list here. I'm going to name a male guy. I'm going to go with Logain, Mr. Logain. He was super handsome. I love that hair, and he's dangerous. Looks like a rock star to me.
So you show Logain, right?
Show Logain. I didn't have any attraction to book Logain.
All right. Let me think. Gotta do a show character. Let's do Viren. Viren's an attractive lady.
She is. She's on my list too. She's a solid choice.
Solid choice. Her and Adelaus, both of them.
I think actually, like the two that we chose, Logain and Viren, that would be a terrible couple either. Actually,
yeah,
I think they'd be good for each other. They're both like hetero, right?
I think so.
I mean, book Viren definitely.
Viren's just like, she's just around.
Oh, I'm getting her confused with somebody. I'm getting her confused with Adelaus because Adelaus has the two warders. Viren doesn't even have a warder, does she?
I think she does.
Yeah, she had that dude named Tom. Thomas.
Yeah, she's got and he's in the show. He's pretty cute too in the show.
Does nothing for me.
Fair.
Yeah. So you're first. Who do you got here?
Elias.
From the show or from the books?
Both.
Okay. Elias.
Both.
Rugged type too.
He's great.
Okay. Like I would match that, in my opinion. Well, you're attracted to him. See, I'm thinking of like a female. See, I view Elias the same way I view like Moraine, like Rosamund Pike. Kind of like beyond, like, I don't know. I view both of them, Elias and Moraine, as kind of like not unsexual, but I don't view them in that way.
You don't view them in that with that. No. Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair.
It's like I respect both of them. There's just no attraction there. But you say Elias, so I'm going to see who I got here. Yes. Isla. She's also from that. They were kind of like in the same crew there. Isla, you might remember, she is the Tuathan woman who's married to Rain, and I guess she's Aram's grandmother, perhaps.
Yeah.
And she's played by Maria Doyle Kennedy on the show. And I'm just a massive Maria Doyle Kennedy fan in every way. Like,
she's great.
I mean, she's absolutely my ideal. She's the right age for me too. So that's right on.
I mean, her standing up to the White Cloaks, incredible. She did
God.
Great.
Yes. I mean, that was more admirable. I didn't feel any sexual attraction at that point. I was just like, oh my God, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I had the guts. I don't know if I would have the guts to do that.
All right, your pick.
I'm picking one of the big five here, and this got me in some heat with the old lady. But I'm a big fan of Egwene. Like, I think she's a gorgeous woman. I do realize that she has, in real life, I'm talking about the show Egwene.
Okay.
Because I haven't gotten to any of my book characters that I'm really into. I mean, we talked about my book characters that I like, but not in this list yet. But the character of Egwene in the show, the actress, she has a sister that looks almost identical to her, except she has like a more, like, I guess you would say, like, aesthetically pleasing face, I suppose. It's more like, what do you call it? Symmetrical, I suppose.
Sure.
Whereas I'm more attracted to Egwene because I like her features. I've always liked, large noses for whatever reason, and she supplies. And I don't know. There's an early scene in season 1 with her and Rand. It's a pretty hot scene. I like Egwene.
I mean, if you're choosing top of the main five, I also have to choose of the main five.
Yes,
and I'll say Matt.
Okay. I was almost afraid you were going to say somebody else, but Matt.
Rand?
Yes.
Or Perrin? All three of them are on my list. All three of them. Love them all.
Okay, they didn't make my wife's lists, but Matt certainly did.
Rand is also in a gay movie that I've seen parts of, and I enjoy him, the actor.
Who, Barney or Donald?
No, not Matt. Rand.
Oh, okay.
Donald, I think I have seen in something else. I don't have anything off the top of my head of gay that he was in, but both Donald and Barney are very attractive to me. I feel.
For me, the number one hottest guy on the show is Barney Harris, is Matt. Like hands down. Like yes, yeah, I'm not just straight up. He's an attractive man. There's no excuse for there. I don't have to qualify that with anything. Just straight up.
Yeah.
And I think the internet agrees with me. Everybody loves Barney Harris.
He's very attractive. He before I'd even read the books when I first started watching the show, didn't know anything about it. He was definitely one of the first things I was like, yeah. I'll watch the show for him and for Rand.
Did you go first that time, or did I go first?
You went first.
There you go, then, Corwyn.
So it is my turn. I'm going to throw one out of left field for you. This one's well, not left field. We've mentioned it before. Okay. Tam Althor.
Rand's dad?
Rand's dad.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're talking about in the show, probably, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in the books too, he's but
rugged, manly man.
I have both. I have both Rand's dad and Matt's dad on my.
You're a dad lover.
And Abel Cawthon, also in the books, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see he's attractive. But then in the show, I'm not as attracted to him. The actor's still handsome, but is not quite the same as the book.
Okay, yeah. These manly rugged men types, like they turn me off. I like the Barney Harris, Logain, long-haired pretty boys. That's my type.
We all love the pretty boys. You just got to give the other one some chance.
Oh, I mean, with a pick like Tam Althor, which I think a lot of people are probably in your camp on that one. I mean, I'll go with Lanfear. I mean, she's number one out of everybody so far that I've seen visually on this show. She falls number one, 100%. I got to keep seeing her. I'll even see her as Sylvie. That'll be fun too. Seeing her portray a 90-year-old woman. That'll be interesting. Because she'll still be her. Great. She's still like sly and weird and mysterious.
Yeah. She's great.
All right. Is our list out, or do you have any more for me?
I don't know if I mentioned Lan, but Lan is definitely on the list.
If you listen to our season 1 coverage, me and James both are. Lan's not on my list, but
Lan's at the top of my list. The very first person on my list when you first sent me that, and I wrote it down, was Matt, and then Lan. Like those are the top two, and then Elias, and then everyone else.
I mean, I was hoping Matt was going to be on the list. That's a surprise. I mean, Lan shouldn't surprise me because, yeah, James always said that he was like the most attractive man on the show, because me and James, of course, have had a conversation like that too. So, yeah, out of the dudes, Lan is number one.
My list that I wrote down, I just included the male gaze for me. So I didn't include any women on it. But if I was to write a list, I would definitely include Moraine and Swan. Swan is hot. She's great.
Okay.
Especially with her tattoos.
The
beautiful
tattoos
woman.
Are cool. That takes her up a notch, in my opinion.
Yeah. Viren has with the gray, beautiful. There's a lot of pretty people in the show. A lot of pretty people.
See, that's the reason I made this list, because I haven't heard that. I've heard that people say that there's not enough pretty people in the show, but maybe I'm listening to interesting sources. I don't know.
Even with the what's her face, with the long fingernails.
Oh, right.
The Shan Chen.
Yeah.
Even
Suroth.
with her long fingernails Suroth, even with her long fingernails and her mohawk, still a very attractive person. Moghedien got a very strange vibe about her, still attractive.
Seems like
a lot of hot people in the show.
Seems like a Bjork. She reminds me of Bjork a lot.
Literally everyone. Bjork.
Suroth, the actress that plays Suroth, because I mean, I had zero attraction to Suroth on the show because she was so I was looking at her as Suroth, and she's such a despicable character. She's Absolutely. She's making those faces, and like, I don't know. I didn't
Murdering
see.
a bunch of people.
Yeah. I was just not into her at all. And then on Instagram, I see the actress that portrays her, and she's like a gorgeous, like hippie woman who's
Yeah.
like a natural beauty. And then like I couldn't even see like Suroth's face and her face as I was looking at the pictures. I can see vice versa. I can look at Suroth and I can see the actress inside. But when I look at the actress, I'm like, nope, you're not Suroth. I'm sorry. You cannot do that. But she does somehow.
Yeah.
She
Even
died. I'm sorry. She died, right?
Suroth? No.
It. I was confused by that because it seemed
Well,
like
in
when they wrecked
the
the boats, it seemed like she died in the
when they
show.
wrecked it, she could have, but in the books, she's I think she lives to the end.
She does. She absolutely does. And I was really confused about that. And I'm glad we brought up Suroth. I'm going back to like the main topic at hand again. I don't know why, but it seemed like when Moraine did her thing with the boats, it seemed like she smashed up all those boats and everybody died. But we didn't actually see Suroth, heave her last breath or whatever.
Yeah, and I think one of the channelers that was on the boat with Suroth is also important in the books. So
That's right. That's right.
she got to show up again.
Okay.
Maybe. Who knows? They might go off the rails. They might just decide, you know what? This is our story.
As long as they don't like Game of Thrones season 8 us, I mean, I think I'll be okay.
I think that would be hard to accomplish. They would have to like really try to turn it that poorly.
Yeah. Yeah, on this website I was looking at, I'll just mention this before we head out of here, Corwyn. There's a lot of interesting comments on here, and I wrote some of these comments myself because, like I said, I'm a fan of this watseries.com website, and you can leave comments, and I always say nice stuff. Not everybody does though. Most of the people on here are very much naysayers, and there was some pretty hate-filled stuff on here about how much they hate the show. But I like this guy. He's a guy named Sammy, and I wanted to read his comment real quick. He says, I have read all of the books 7 or 8 times. I'm 70 years young. And when I watch a series, I expect to see differences. And I would rather they have stuck with the books, but I am enjoying watching what I see. Sammy, that's exactly how I feel. I mean, I think that's how everybody feels. We'd like to see them stick with the books, but the differences they're giving us are enough that we can, have fun and report on it and compare the stories to one another. I don't think it's a bad thing, Sammy.
Yeah, I mean, going from a book to a movie or a TV show is incredibly difficult because you're not going to be able to capture the same sense that you have in the book
Sure.
as you do on film. There's a lot of nuance that happens internally that it's kind of hard to adapt into a thing for a movie. So ultimately, what we're watching is an adaptation of The Wheel of Time, and you understand that there are differences in an adaptation. It is presenting the story to us in a way that feels very genuine to the story and genuine to the world. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, we can't expect a one-for-one adaptation because the book is so, immense, such a large world. I'm thinking about a book adaptation that does work like a one-to-one would be something like a classic book like The Outsiders or Catcher in the Rye, for example. Those books both have movies that you can just read the book as you watch the movie. They're a one for one because it's a really simple story with very simple characters. And what we're dealing with here is not a simple story with simple characters. There's a lot of intricacies, and some stuff is going to get left out, and some stuff is going to get added in to try to make that make sense. And you and me, Corwyn, and this 70-year-old dude, Sammy, are going to roll with it.
You also, like, if they did adapt this 1-to-1, there are going to be a lot of viewers that fall off in the slog areas. So why would you be mad there's not a 1-to-1 adaptation?
Exactly.
You don't even like reading that part, so why do you want to see it?
That's a good question. Well, I'm going to start ramping us out of here, Corwyn. Did you have anything you wanted to plug before we get out of here, or any last discussions topics?
I mean, I'll just plug what I always plug. Go listen to 95 episodes of This Movie's Gay. Watch my twitch.tv/corewinning. I stream occasionally. It's been a minute, but I'll be back. I'm around. I'm aloof and elusive. You might catch me, you might not. Who knows? But check it out anyway.
I'm having luck catching you, so I'm glad you're on board.
And that's all I got. Thank you for having me today.
Right on. Thank you for being part of it. You can find Corwyn's links on my website too. sweetshotoftime.com is where I got everything now. Within a couple days, that song with Lindsay and myself will be released. It's a cover of Wishing Well, originally by Stomper and Lucy Tops. And I got to tell you, I was blown away when Lindsay sent me the vocals back. I was not expecting Lana Del Rey to be sending me a track back. I mean, her voice is amazing. Her voice is great in the Woods Somewhere. That's available right now to hear. Her sequel, Wishing Well, just tops it. So I'm very proud to be part of that. Yeah. Until next time, next episode, I'll be talking with Lindsay. We'll have a guest on. We'll be talking about the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And hopefully after that, we'll be talking with Corwyn and James. But until then, Corwyn, I hope you and the listeners all find water and shade and shoes. Bye.
Bye.
Gonna find